So it's January 13th, and I'll call the North Kingstown School Committee business meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is to recess to executive session pursuant to RIGL 42464 for discussion of job performance, character, or physical or mental health of a person or persons, provided that such person and persons affected have been notified in writing and advised that they may require the discussion to be held in open meeting pursuant to RIGL 42465A1. Non-certified employee A, leave of absence request, superintendent contract, pre-suspension hearing, employee B. Item 2, sessions pertaining to potential litigation / legal advice and collective bargaining pursuant to RIGL 42465A2, NEA NK negotiations and potential litigation for Rouse Architects. And item 3, discussion of any investigative proceedings regarding allegations of misconduct, either civil or criminal, pursuant to RIGL 42465A4, certified employees C and D investigation update. Can I get a motion to go into executive?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Great. Okay, and so we will reconvene into open session. The next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Karen Earl.
Here.
Robert Case.
Here.
Jennifer Lima.
Here.
Megan Riley.
Here.
Sherry Kennedy.
Here.
Joshua Furtado. Sadie McCann.
Thank you. Calendar, please.
January 14th. Advisory Committee Central Admin Conference Room. January 20th, 6 p.m. School Committee Budget Workshop, Central Admin Conference Room. January 21st, 4:30 p.m. Budget and Finance Advisory Committee meeting, Central Admin Conference Room. January 21st, 6 p.m. DEI Advisory Committee meeting, Central Admin Conference Room. January 22nd, 6 p.m. Building Advisory Committee meeting, Central Admin Conference Room. January 26th, 5 p.m. Policy Advisory Committee meeting, Central Admin Conference Room. School Committee office hours, January 28th from 6:30 to 7:30 at the North Kingstown High School cafeteria.
Thank you. Just a, I guess, point of clarification. Is there another meeting that we have with the Town Council too? Or is that the 20th one? It's not just UW, just in general. The one that
we have one on the 22nd, I believe, with the joint one with the legislative delegation.
On a Thursday?
It's no, on the Monday the 22nd.
No, not January 22nd.
No, that's a
January 26th.
26th. I knew it was a Monday.
Yeah, we just haven't. So that's the same thing as the same night as the policy.
Yeah,
advisory?
it's we talked.
Yeah, there we go. I knew it was missing.
Yeah.
All right, so just to clarify, on January 26th, the school committee and we'll be doing a joint meeting with the Town Council after the policy advisory meeting.
Yes, and
at the chambers.
At the chambers, and the 21st budget, we canceled that yesterday, right, Terry?
So we're going to officially do that. I have to send out to everyone.
Okay.
So, but yes, it's tentatively canceled.
Okay, good talk on the calendar. The budget and finance advisory meeting.
Can I ask you a question? When these meetings are canceled or whatever, what is the point of contact for getting them updated on the website? Do you know what I mean? So, for instance, sounds like we made some changes.
Yeah, so if it's anything related to the school committee or the advisories, it goes to the school committee clerk to adjust the website.
Okay.
Okay, great. And so we'll get that added and then make sure that that gets sent to the committee as well. Next item on the agenda is citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments?
They are filling out the paper.
No worries, take your time. Whoever's first can feel free to come up. Just pursuant to policy BE, individual comments are respectfully requested to be limited to 5 minutes. And just so you know, the school committee, in an attempt to treat everyone equally with dignity and respect, we don't respond to a citizen's comment. We just listen thoughtfully as it's the citizen's time. So we will turn it over to the list. Okay, Linda?
Okay. As parents of students on the North Kingstown High School robotics teams, we would like to express our gratitude for the leadership shown during the recent active shooter incident that impacted our robotics community. As some of you may know, on December 13th, during a statewide robotics tournament, hundreds of high school students, coaches, and their families were placed on lockdown at Wheeler School in Providence as a response to the tragedy unfolding at Brown University. School committee member Megan Riley previously shared her appreciation during the committee meeting on December 16th. We would like to further highlight this amazing team effort and acknowledge excellence. Working with the broader community of Rhode Island First Tech Challenge officials, Wheeler School Administration, Brown University Police, and Providence Police, the response from members of the North Kingstown School Department was immediate and thoughtful. Thank you to Tom Rishworth, tournament official, and North Robotics mentors for taking immediate action. Tom's initial address to the crowd was calm, clear, and concise, and helped everyone remain cooperative. A special thank you to Mallory Shields and Rick Powell, North Kingstown High School educators and mentors of the North Robotics teams, whose leadership was truly nothing short of extraordinary. While our students spent hours in a darkened gym under unsettling and uncertain conditions, Ms. Shields and Mr. Powell created a sense of safety and stability. Their presence and reassurance allowed students to remain composed and cooperative during the lockdown. What made their response so effective was not only their moment-to-moment actions during the lockdown, but also the strong, respectful relationships they had already built with every team member, relationships rooted in trust. This foundation gives students confidence that they are in capable, caring hands during times of stress and beyond, as well as parents, I must say, having been there. Ms. Shields and Mr. Powell initiated communication with families at the event and at home, and coordinated with Principal Finkelstein and Superintendent Duva throughout the lockdown. Their professionalism, empathy, and unwavering commitment embody what it means to lead in a moment of crisis. North Kingstown Robotics and North Kingstown High School are truly fortunate to have these remarkable educators.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you to Principal Finkelstein and Superintendent Duva for your text and email updates throughout the evening hours. Thank you to the North Kingstown Transportation Department, specifically Kurt Hancock, the bus driver who stayed in Providence and brought our teams home safely. Thank you to Dr. Duva for meeting the robotics team bus at the high school upon their return that Saturday night at 9 p.m. Your response and presence were a comfort to all. In the days that followed, the North Kingstown community continued to show their trademark excellence. Families received proactive support from Ms. Shields and Mr. Powell, Principal Fink and Dr. Duva, and school counselors. The availability of mental health first aid and follow-up resources demonstrated a deep understanding of the impact this experience may have on our students and community. Thank you to school counselors Bethany Caramile, Jessica Giguere, Barbara Jean Mancini, Elizabeth Parvo-Brown, Mia Turo, and Erin Ward, school social worker Matthew Hughes, and school psychologist Sherry Monaco, who ensured each robotics student had an individual check-in meeting the following Monday at school. Thank you also for your follow-up later that day with emails and phone calls home to families. Thank you to Ryan Degree, high school educator, who provided support to students. Thank you to the team of school counselors, Ms. Monaco, Dr. Duva, Assistant Principal Eric Anderson, Ms. Shields, and Mr. Powell, who met with the entire North Robotics team as a whole after school on Monday to process their responses and offer available resources. While this was an unsettling experience, the compassion, preparedness, and collaboration shown by our school community reflect the commitment of those entrusted with the care of our students. A difficult situation became an opportunity for care and connection. Please know your collective efforts were seen, felt, and deeply appreciated by our families. During tragedy, there are always people doing the right thing. Thank you for modeling leadership, collaboration, communication, empathy, and resilience. This is what a connected community looks like. This is NK. Thank you.
Those are the only two names I have signed up. Anyone else? Thank you so much. Okay. Moving on to.
Do you want to tell me if you leave?
Oh yes, sorry. We have a rule that you are more than welcome to leave after you speak. You're welcome to stay. It's thrilling, but we also know people have a lot of commitments. And again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time to honor our staff. We really appreciate it. Moving on to superintendent report, Dr. Duva.
So a few things. I know we mentioned that the playground at the Early Learning Center at Davisville Academy was complete. We opened it, and the children are out there enjoying the playground and having fun, which is exciting. Just want to let everyone know that's happening. At Davisville Middle School, we know that some of our schools have received Feinstein grants. DMS had received a grant recently. They're using those funds to help support our students, and they're working with our food services program, and they've expanded the offering of breakfast items, so they're using those funds to provide hot breakfast options to our students before school. We Also work along with the town with the Learn 365 grant. Through that grant and through the partnership with the town, Davisville Middle School had received some funding, and they are providing some after-school programs there that they're starting. Some of the programs that they're doing is 3D printing, coding, and design, a ELA escape room, opportunities to explore science with teachers from Mad Science, a workshop that combines literature and crafts, video game design with Scratch, and a computer that program is led by teachers from the Computer Science Museum, and they're also running an international club. At North Kingstown High School, recently we had some athletes represent the district at the Kyle Cares Teen Mental Health Summit. It was hosted by the Rhode Island Interscholastic League, and students participated in mental health awareness workshops that focused on coping strategies, advocacy, health relationships, and suicide prevention. Last week, again, I'm going to move away from like individual schools, but as far as district highlights, last week, January 5th, the Council on Elementary and Secondary Education approved our Stage 2 application. So that's a huge milestone, I think, for us. We've been working on this for a few years. So I just want to thank everyone, thank our community, school committee members, all of our vendors and contractors, and the school building committee that we have here internally for helping and supporting that, as well as our town council. So with that approval, they approved our necessity of school construction application for $136,271,138. We will be reimbursed with the state share ratio of 35%, and that's expected to be $47,694,898 of reimbursement for those projects. In transportation, recently we, going back earlier in this school year, you had approved a vendor to put in cameras and GPS systems on our school buses. So I just wanted to provide you an update that we've started that implementation of installing the internal sensor cameras and GPS. All of our large buses have those cameras installed except one, because we had one bus getting repaired, but that's going to be put in. And then the cameras and the GPS system are being installed in our mini buses this week. So that's all good. That helps towards the safety and transportation for our students. Michelle, our transportation supervisor, through this program, has that GPS access so she can see where the buses are. If there's any needs or safety needs or emergencies, you can see where they are in live time. It also helps with traffic, because when she's looking at the program, she can see where there's areas of traffic or need to assist with any rerouting. Other great news within transportation: last night, the North Kingstown Town Council voted to approve the Town Planning Department to accept and enter into agreement with the United States Department of Transportation, a Safe Streets and Roads for All grant for $60,000, and that's going to be used to install school bus stop arm cameras on all of our school buses. So I just want to thank the town and the partnership we have with them for this grant and supporting us to prioritize the safety of our students. And lastly, we had our school district spelling bee last night at the high school. So while we were all here in our budget and finance advisory, we had the spelling bee happening at the high school. We had 28 students as finalists from our schools representing grades 3 through 4 that participated. And everyone did a great job. And we had 3 students who made it to the end. The third place winner is Benjamin Stretter-Bridgham, who is a 7th grader at Davisville Middle School. Second place is Alexander Lawrence, a 4th grader at Hamilton. And first place is Oscar Valverde, who is a 7th grader at Davisville Middle School. So Oscar will represent North Kingstown at the State Spelling Bee in March at Lincoln Middle School. I just want to congratulate all of them and everyone that participated. And this year, Stony Lane was the host school. So I just want to thank Stony Lane for their efforts and all in putting the spelling bee together last night.
Great, thank you so much. Any questions for the superintendent report?
I do have 2 questions, 2 separate questions. The first one is, for clarification purposes, I just want to be very clear on the reimbursement from RIDE. While 35% is the top out of the $47 million would be the top that we would get, but should we be very cautious about saying that we're definitely getting 47 million back? Because my understanding
Well,
is
it's
that it's
so
uneligible.
Right. So so what they approved us for was 136 million of projects. Right. That's what we're eligible for reimbursement on 136. We have more projects. Right. So we have up to 141 million. But RIDE approves the project based on, like, for example, with middle school, with the size of the building that you're building and what's acceptable. So it's 136 million of eligible costs that's been approved, and we can receive what we would expect to receive you guys at 35%, right? And so it depends if we get the projects done. So we are required to complete 50% of those projects. So it all depends on the projects being completed and us submitting those reimbursements to the state.
Right, and not everything is eligible for reimbursement. I just want to make sure the public is very aware that when you said 47 million, if it doesn't end up being 47 million, people are shell shocked or sticker shocked. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, I was just curious, the mental health workshop that the athletes went to, and you may not know the answer to this, but was that open to any athlete? Were they chosen?
No, so what you do is every school can send so many. So we had 5 athletes this year that we were able to send.
Okay.
And so they get chosen from the athletes that we have. And so 5 were able to go. Every school, based on their size, gets to send so many students.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions for the superintendent report? Okay, before we move on to the consent agenda, actually, let's do A first, and then I need to take a quick recess. So can I get a motion to seal the executive session minutes, and we'll disclose that there were no votes taken in today's executive session.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then I just need to make a motion for a quick 5-minute recess.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. Before we make a motion to approve the consent agenda, does anyone want to exempt anything from the consent agenda?
I want a motion to exempt B, homeschooling requests.
Okay, any others?
D1 and 2, please.
D1 and 2. Okay, any others before we make a motion to approve? Okay. Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, removing item B and D1 and 2?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then can I get a motion for B?
Make a motion that we remove student D from the homeschooling request report
And approve it.
and approve it.
Great.
Of the others.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then D1, can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay,
Second.
okay.
I had 2 questions for this. Where will the funding for this come when we need to pay it? And who is our current contractor?
So the
And this is the roof
The roof
repair. Just
yeah,
to
so
put
the
this-
vendor that we're awarding it to was who we had a contract with already in
Okay.
the past. And then that's coming right out of the operating budget. We have these lines in the
Specifically,
contracts.
I'm
Yeah.
asking specifically.
Like what, it's coming under facilities, under the operating budget for
I'm
facilities.
asking like specifically the
Number?
UCO code. Yeah.
I don't know it off the top of my head. We can find it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If we could have that on the cover sheet, like the funding source, when we're approving money things, that would be helpful.
Okay, any other discussion regarding that?
Yeah, I had asked for either the scoring rubric or maybe more information. I'm just curious what where Armand's recommendation came from.
Yeah, so I did reply because you asked why it didn't go back to the school building. You asked that it didn't go to the school building authority for approval.
Did you reply to me?
Yeah, today. It was late. It was later this afternoon. I replied
Okay.
back to you. And so I was just saying that this does not go with that contract, would not go to the school building authority because it's not part of capital improvement. This is it's a 3-year contract, but it's something that we have in, this 3-year contract so that we have a company ready to go to provide maintenance to the roofs and to inspect the roofs for us. It's something that the district has always had. This is separate from the work we need to do with adding, replacing the roofs. So it's completely separate from that. As far as the criteria, there was an evaluation. It's within the RFP that he has. The criteria is in the RFP of what was used to.
But there's no matrix. Like, it just gives the criteria, but it doesn't give the ranking for each vendor.
The rent, right? And I don't think we've ever I went back looking too, and you asked even when I put forward the visitor badge management, I didn't submit the rankings for that.
We do get it sporadically, and I think
Yeah.
it might be helpful to establish whether that's a practice going
Okay.
forward.
Yeah.
I think it should be for
Yeah,
all
we can-
vendors.
I agree.
Yeah.
Or like the one-liner that just said this is who he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would just, because we're the ones whose names are going to be on the approval, the vote, and I just get very concerned that it's just like, oh, Armand said so. Do you know what I mean? Not that I don't trust him, and obviously we hire people that we hope are reliable and we expect to be reliable, but it's also helpful to say, this is the reason he chose them, because they came in the
They're our
lowest
current
bid, or
contractor.
they're our current contract. Like, I did not know the background, the history of this. I didn't know anything, and I just think it's important if we're going to be voting on it that we know why this person was, or this
I'll
company
make sure
was put
that
forward.
as we go forward with other RFPs, that is included in there.
Yeah, and then the other thing about my question about putting it before building advisory, it wasn't for us to oversee it or to give you recommendations. It was more just I like to say like professional courtesy. Like, in other words, when things are being done about building stuff, just a quick, this is where we are now with our buildings and our maintenance and our facilities projects, and now we're just even a quick one-liner and not necessarily in a previous meeting, but maybe the next meeting we just say, at the last school committee meeting we approved X, Y, or Z, related to roof repairs, or this is the company we're going to have now.
Yeah. We could talk, maybe we can talk offline too, just because there's a lot that happens within the buildings. So as far as like what we might bring to the SBA, I mean, right now we've been focusing on specifically the work we're doing moving forward, not just any routine items.
Right,
So-
but I guess what I'm saying is if we're going to go out for an RFP, a big bid, I think this was like the cheap. This came at $118,000. You're right. We have to figure out like what might be included in our meetings or not. But I did want you to know I wasn't asking like why didn't we get to approve this?
Yeah, I
I
didn't know if there was a confusion with the roof replacements
Yeah.
versus this. That
Yeah.
was just my.
Right, so I made that
so-
note about kind of figuring out
Yeah.
that clarification of like what, I heard what you said and I made a note so we can follow up on that
Okay.
after. And I also made the note about the rubric criteria as well, like in figuring out the processes for that, so.
Yeah, 'cause
Any
I-
other ones about the actual RFP that we're looking at? Like any other questions about the RFP that we're looking to approve right now? Sherry?
No, I was just gonna say, I think the grade's good for the public too,
Mhm.
instead of, because you
Yep.
can kind of see it in a quick.
Yep, noted, and we can also look at kind of where that lands in policy and procedure land too. So, any other questions regarding item D1? Okay, hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Let's move on to D2. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I just had two questions and a concern. If we could get follow-up on the ones that just say incoming TBA at some point, because there's a report that they don't actually list.
Hold on, I need to go back to what you were referring to.
This is the Feinstein grant.
It's the Feinstein grants,
Like it's page 134 has like TBA.
TBA, right? Like, so it's not actually telling us anything. So if we could get another update with what they actually.
I would recommend tabling it until you get that information.
Well, hold on, can I just look at it, because I think
Yeah.
I know why it says TBA, I just need to look at the actual form, because I'm printed in front of me. So, so here's,
Like TBA
What's-
not
what is that
received
for?
yet, so like, even though it's on, like, we're talking about it tonight, like, in my mind, this is not,
so when they get the Feinstein money, right, the money is provided to the school, right, and then they can decide how they are going to use it.
Yep.
So, like, you're within the policy, the role of the school committee is to approve, okay, these grants came through, approve
Yep.
the grant. They then decide how they want to use them.
Yep.
The money has to be put towards students and put towards the school.
Yep.
So this one, I believe this is the one referring to DMS, right?
No,
Are they in
so-
the same
there's
one?
several of
What do
them.
It seems like it's all the January 7th ones.
Right.
Which makes,
Some, if I may.
The one that says
some-
TBA?
There's
Yeah,
one.
some of the principals said, we know we're going to be awarded, we just don't know how much yet and when we're
Sorry,
going to get it. So I had just recorded what they had said, and I said, when you know, can you please let me know?
I also think there's a typo on D2B. It says Fishing Cove in the header, but the document says Forest Park.
Okay.
And then Forest Park is right above it, so I'm assuming
oh,
that
yeah,
attachment
this
is
probably
just
should have said
not
Forest
right.
Park. I was thinking
Fishing Cove. I think it should have said
Yeah,
Fishing
so
Cove.
I agree. I just
Oh, the
noticed
for-
that.
Well, the Forest Park, there's no award amount there.
So the first thing I see is Forest Park, 2,700.
Yeah.
The second
The second
attachment
one.
says Fishing Cove in my table of contents,
Yeah,
but
right,
then the
that's
document says Forest Park
But then
17.
there's no amount
My
there.
assumption, because the date is the same, is that is Fishing Cove 17. It's just a typo.
Because then it goes to him.
Yeah.
So I guess my point is like TBA.
Yeah, we're not
TBA,
approving those.
Well, that one, but there should have been an amount there.
But
Right,
I
so
guess-
they actually know
That's
the
not-
amounts, they might not
But
know
the,
what
the
they're using it
next
for.
page
So
has
so
an
that-
amount and it still says TBA. So my point is, if it's not telling us what they're using the money for, to me, it's not providing us any
So
information.
what I would
Well, they might not know it yet because they got the grant, and then they decide as a school, what are
So,
we
so
going to do?
don't
We
tell
got to
us
put it
until you
towards.
know, right? Like, that's kind of my
Okay,
point.
Because I think
I was
that's-
just trying to be really organized. When these
Okay.
grants came through, get them on there,
That's
and
awesome.
have. So I mean, that was the reason.
So then
putting
my
it
next
forward,
question
so.
is, support student community. What does that mean?
So they are going to use those funds to put in place of supporting the students in the school, right? So the money's going towards the school. So they don't have it identified yet of exactly what they're going to buy or put the money, but the money's going towards use of supporting the
I
students.
think-
So maybe there's a disconnect, because the last time that these came before us, we approved the grants,
Mhm.
and then we said, could you please come back to us and let us know what you've actually spent the money on? So
Mhm.
when I saw this, I thought this was the coming back and telling us what you spent the money on.
Oh, I know what you're saying. So you, like, tell us, they have the amount that they were given.
Well, there's two different things happening on these documents.
And then,
Some are from October, and I think we had already
Approved
those.
and then some are recent, and not bad or
So,
good. I like.
Steph, I'm sorry, I need clarification from you on
Could we
what was put
just
into these
table this
documents.
since-
I have one more comment I want to make, and then I'm
Right,
happy
so-
to table
I'm
it.
gonna
Right.
share, so they.
Right,
Let's
so,
give them a sec, and then we'll.
so the purpose was to approve any grants that we just received, like recent grants, recent Feinstein grants. It looks like some of the principals might have submitted to you like
All of
a
it.
summary from like the
What they have
year.
to date is what they sent me, the grants to
Right.
date.
So what we'll do is I'm going to make a note to double check that the ones that had been received previously had been accepted from the school committee.
Right.
So that's step one. Step two is if we could get some more clarification on those TBD ones, we
Mhm.
can improve them next week. And then step three is if the money has been spent, if we could get a update on what it was spent on to be transparent and knowledgeable. Like I see what Jen's saying. It's
Mhm.
vague. So there's kind of three things that we need to do, but I don't think we can do any of them today.
No, but my last
Yeah.
thing is the, so DMS stated that they're using, and you mentioned it, it's in here, that they're using grant money to reduce the cost of hot breakfast.
Mhm.
And
Well, I didn't say reduce the cost.
Well,
they're
it said
they're
it-
providing more.
No, it said it in the backup here, but that's what they're using. What you said is different. So, yay, awesome, I'm all for that, but
The enterprise fund.
Why are we not using money from the nutrition funds when we've been talking about ways that we can
Because I
spend
don't,
down that
because
money?
I don't think we are allowed to do that. We can't use the money that way. That money has to be put towards either equipment or other ways. That we can't put it towards. I don't think we put it towards the cost of our
Food.
lunch.
I
or
already have it written down to double check.
Okay,
on,
so-
yeah.
We have been
Do
having.
you
Noted.
have that answer? Or no?
We
I
can't
didn't
talk, we're
think
not
we
going to
did.
talk about that
Okay,
in depth.
But I have
Noted.
a concern
Yep.
with that, so just, I want to note that for the record. So with that being said, I will make a motion to table this.
Wait, just before you table it, does anyone else have any questions, comments, or thoughts before we table it? Because there's no discussion in tabling. Okay, so Ken, I wrote down what we'll follow up on, and then we will follow up on it. But with all that said, great news. No, honestly, like it's good news that we're getting money from these grants, and it's good that
It's
we're able
awesome,
to
and I
extra
guess
support. I don't want to get that lost in the
My
details.
purpose is
I
making
know.
sure that it's being utilized for things
100%.
that are not part of our regular budget so that
Yep.
we can support wonderful things for our students with it and not using it for things that
Noted.
should be
Yep.
coming out
Can
of our
I
operating
get
budget.
I guess clarification on the policy? School committee approves the grant, not how it's being used, right? Or is I
We'll
guess
check.
just trying to look at it. I mean, because the purpose of Feinstein money is not to go to the school committee to decide how it's being used. The purpose of the Feinstein money is to go to the schools and let the principal decide with their staff how the money is being used. The policy that we have written from school committee is just to approve grants that are coming through.
Right, I'll double check the
Right?
language.
So
just to
I
make
think
sure
we
we're
just
in
need to be clear on
compliance.
what the
Yeah.
role is
Yeah.
here and what the role of
Yeah,
principals.
and I think some of what I heard.
And I'm
Yeah.
not pushing. I
We'll
just
double check it. Yep.
need to-
Not in a bad way. We'll
Yeah.
just make sure
Yeah.
we're in but then also I think with all that said, even if we double check it and we're in compliance as far as how we're approving them and whatnot, I do agree that we want to make sure that we're being transparent about how those funds are being spent. And so that follow-up piece and that circle back piece, even though we're not approving how it was being
Right.
spent, being knowledgeable about that is important. So we can figure out the logistics of that.
Well, I also think it's just nice for everyone to know, like I know DMS, I think I know what the school assemblies were. They were really great. So just to put school assemblies, like I think it'd be a good way for us to know because maybe like, you know, Wickford's not a Feinstein school, but maybe we should figure out money to do a similar assembly. So I think it would just be good to,
Cool.
more not really approval, but like maybe ideas for us to
Yep.
expand on what they're doing.
Understood.
And I just want to throw something in. What I was hearing from Jen wasn't like school committee trying to overreach. I think to me what I heard was we don't want to be spending money that we already have elsewhere from these grants. So if we could just look into, you know, making sure that we're not dipping into somewhere where we don't need to be when, you know, we could be using these grant monies elsewhere.
Yeah.
If we
No,
can take
I understand.
the
And
food.
we'll check. I
nutrition.
don't believe. I didn't think we were allowed to use those funds to supplement the cost of the.
Yeah, because we had
So-
another time where a grant came through and it was for school supplies, right? So just things like that, like making sure that the grants are to be used for fun, exciting, supplemental supportive things, not,
Supplementary operating budget. Noted.
so motion to table?
Great. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Sherry, you good with it?
Yep, I'm
Okay.
good. Sorry. I was
No,
just-
no worries. I just always want to make sure that I'm not
Yeah.
assuming eyes. Okay, so Ken can follow up on that. So I made a note for next meeting. Moving on to reports. Does anyone have any questions regarding special report A, physical restraint report?
Thank you for getting the additional information. We're still missing the data from March 2024 through June 2024.
Yeah, so I will share that. I just didn't think we'd be able to, I know you asked for that
Okay, I just
today,
wanted, because you
and I will
provided
Hold on, let him
the
finish.
2024-2025 school year, so I just wanted you to make sure that you knew that we were missing those 3 specific
That was
months.
sent to them?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was sent to them.
That's okay. I think it was just a gap in
Okay.
report. Like
Yeah,
it,
so that's why
Sure.
Yep.
I will.
I just want to make sure that I communicate that there's 3 specific months still missing.
so we can get an update on that, and then we'll put it back on.
Sorry, I didn't realize that was sent to you. When I had said about getting
Honestly,
it done.
I was like, oh my,
it,
what a
we
quick
can get it.
response. That
No worries. Any other questions regarding that special report? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the next one. So we've got financial report file gate receipts. Does anyone on the committee have any questions regarding that report?
I was just curious, do we get the most, are the gate receipts the highest in the fall? I was just thinking about the sporting events and how I know a lot.
Just
You know, 'cause
introduce
it's
yourself.
football.
Leslie Ann Powell, Director of Finance. Yes.
Just out of curiosity, but I was thinking
For
that
the
was the
most
answer
part,
was yes.
we get the majority of the revenue that we're going to receive through December 31st. Obviously, we do have stuff that happens in the spring, but the bulk of the revenues come in the first half of the year.
One question I had about the gate receipts is how is it factored in with the Booster Club giving like the discounted rates for like membership? So like it seems to me like the Booster Club like will say like you can join for X amount of
So you
money.
buy a card.
Yeah.
So when you buy the booster card, you're paying like $90
Yeah.
for 2, and then you are allowed into
Yeah.
certain events.
Yeah, so how is that factored in to like when we're budgeting for the gate receipts and then also like the financial loss basically that is had by doing it like that?
To be honest, it's not factored in because when I'm doing the financials, I base on the actual revenue that we receive. So it's from everything that comes in at the actual events that's then deposited in our account. So if there's any of the discounts that are happening with the boosters, that doesn't kind of impact what we're seeing. And so my budgeted revenue is strictly off of what we receive.
Yeah.
But it's a very valid point to consider when we're talking about the loss, the impact about the lost revenues that we don't get from whatever those discounts are. So it's certainly something I can look into.
I think so. Other questions regarding this report? Okay, hearing none, we can move on. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
Advisory subcommittee reports. Jen?
The DEI subcommittee met last on December 17th. I wasn't able to attend, so thank you to Dr. Earl for chairing the meeting for me. Alina Senzi, the new Equity, Belonging, and Community Engagement Coordinator, gave an update on her first few weeks in the district. The limited number of responses that were received to the student survey that was sent out at the end of last year was discussed. The timing at the end of the school year may have been a contributor, so it's going to be resent out, I believe, at the end of this week. In June of 2022, the committee's recommendation regarding district draft agreements and forms was discussed, and while there's been progress, there's still areas that can be addressed. So there was discussion around creating a reference or a guidance that could be used when drafting correspondence or flyers to maximize inclusivity. The committee continued to refine its goals for the year, and at the request of administration, will be reviewing the student conduct policy through an equitable discipline lens. Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, January 21st.
Okay, thank you. Policy?
The Policy Advisory Committee last met on
I'm sorry. Does anyone have any questions regarding the DEI Advisory Committee report? I knew I was missing a step there. That's why I was hesitating. Okay, go ahead.
Policy Advisory Committee last met on December 22nd. We reviewed the district's purchasing procedure policies. The district currently has 2 policies which will be consolidated. The dollar limits are being updated to be in alignment with the town charter, and some additional language is being added. We also reviewed the current appeals policy and how it can be updated to convey a fair and consistent process for resolving concerns. We also discussed a new policy for student surveys that will establish what type of information may be sought in student surveys, the notice that must be provided to families, and what type of authorization is required. We also talked briefly about the McKinney-Vento policy, and that will be looking to make some revisions to make it a more user-friendly document. All of these policies will be reviewed at our next meeting, which is scheduled for Monday, January 26th.
Okay, thank you. Next up is CLAC. So the CLAC committee met, I'm not as good as Jen, last week, whenever this, a week ago, I believe. And they had a really productive and great meeting. I would like to give a shout out to the chairs of that committee. They had some parents that are not frequent attendees come to the meeting, which was great because they had some extra folks in the audience and participating, which is really the goal of CLAC. Some things that they're working on is visibility of what CLAC is, and they are working. They work to get magnets printed that can go on families' fridges or wherever magnets go at people's houses with the dates of the different meetings. So they're working through getting those in. They talked about how the preschool lottery application is up. They also, for the first time since I've been the liaison to the committee, had student members that were participating and present. So that was really exciting to have them there, and they actually worked with their teachers to do a presentation about some neat things that were happening at the high school, so that was fantastic. They talked about Unified Spirit Week, which will be March 23rd to the 26th, I believe, and they also talked about providing feedback about accessibility for the buildings from the parent and student perspective for the district administration to take into consideration as they're looking through all of that data. And then lastly, Dr. Santa presented kind of some of the district programs, and there was some conversation about the alignment of those programs and some concerns about specialty, like intensive resource programs being at certain elementary schools, but then the middle school one is not at the one that their peers would be going to. So they crisscross. So there was some conversation and discussion regarding that. And I believe that is it from CLAC. Any questions regarding that one? Okay, Budget and Finance, Sherry?
We met on Monday, January 12th. We reviewed Leslie Ann's presentation on the key budget drivers for FY27. You can find this presentation on the NKSD website under Budget and Finance Advisory Committee Additional Documents. And the committee gave administration ideas on the best way to present the key budget drivers for FY27 to the school committee budget meeting on January 20th, 2026. We also have a motion that I'll bring to the next meeting for Leslie Ann to bring the electric and gas supplier comparison to the school committee for discussion. And then we tentative have a next meeting January 21st, 2026 that is listed on the NKSD website. However, due to conflicts, the committee will be discussing a meeting on another date or need to meet next on Monday, February 2nd, which is already scheduled.
Okay, thank you. Any questions regarding that? And I made a note, Sherry, to follow up so that we can get that on the next agenda.
Yeah, I'll Google the format. I just didn't do it today.
No worries.
Can I make
Any
a
questions
motion?
regarding?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, just any questions regarding that one? We're good? All right, go ahead.
Can I make a motion to move up bus contractor renewal request B under new business to the next item on the agenda?
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go there. Thank you so much. Can I get a motion for that one, please?
Make a motion to discuss.
Second.
Okay. Questions regarding the bus contractor renewal request?
I had a question regarding bus 20. The VIN number listed on the memo is not the VIN number that's listed on the spreadsheet. And there's no VIN number listed in the memo attached.
Sorry, I had no worries.
Just had it. Michelle Hume, Transportation Supervisor. I just had the memo in my hand and I put it down and I can't find it.
Jen, which one were you saying? Bus
20.
20.
Bus 20.
So the memo says that that's VIN number ending in 27662, but on the spreadsheet, that VIN number is listed as bus number 23, And on the spreadsheet, bus number 20 is listed as VIN number 407691. The backup attached to the agenda that has the contract for bus, what I presume is bus number 20, does not list a VIN number on that contract.
On the letter. Is that what yeah.
So the rest of the paperwork is fine, but that bus does not line up.
That one doesn't line up on the VIN? Okay, I would have to look at it. I'm not sure why I thought I looked at them like 3 times when I did it. I don't know. I can't even find the...
And I did email about this before tonight. So.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see the.
Oh, I didn't see it either. I apologize.
She was just
We're
saying
not
it. She
supposed
was just
to
saying it,
email
so
you
she looked
directly.
Oh,
So
okay.
I can email you. I
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
Okay, so my recommendation would be, because I want to let Michelle, like I don't want to just rush, that is
So
just approved,
we
but
can
approve the
we
others,
accept
yeah.
that one.
Okay. So for 20, it matches with 7662, the ending of the VIN.
No, the memo says that, but that is not what's listed on the fleet asset spreadsheet.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll just wait. We'll do the other ones, and then we can start. We have a meeting next week. We can.
Okay. And can I have one other one?
Yeah, of
too?
course. Yeah, I'm not ending conversation. We're just saying for that one, we want to make sure. I imagine you don't carry the bins around, so.
No.
Go ahead, Sherry.
And the other one was bus 26 because I know in the message it says Jennifer and Kurt Hancock, but Kurt was never actually officially added to the contract. Like it was a paper not ever approved by the school committee. So I just feel like we should have a new agreement that has both their names on it just to make us covered. But I think theirs isn't expiring anyways.
No, that was the one that was recent.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I almost think we should remove that
Can you
one
give
and
me
have
the-
a whole new with both their names on it to make it.
Can you give me the number for that one, Sherry?
It's bus 26.
All right, thank you. Okay, so any other questions regarding this one? Okay, hearing none, can someone make a motion that makes sense?
Can we make a motion to approve the extensions on bus 6, 17, 19, and 22?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And then I have a note for, we'll follow back up on 20 and 26
Okay.
next week.
Perfect. Thank you.
Can I make a motion to move up new business item C, budget and finance advisory committee member recommendation?
Okay, all those in favor of moving item C to the next item on the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Can I get a motion for that agenda item, please?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Nope, just excited to have a new member on the budget and finance advisory committee.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find the memo.
235.
Thank you. Just a reminder on the memos for these, if it's possible, when we add or remove members, if we then could just list the current members and then just restate like the quorum, that would be super helpful. So like as we move in, you know what I mean? Like I think it would be just helpful to keep track of like who's on and then what the quorum is with the new added member. I'll happily approve this today. I just think that would be really helpful for us keeping track as people move on and off with them. Any other discussion regarding this? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anything else that we have? Yeah, okay, that's what we were looking for. All right, bye, thank you so much. Okay, let's go back to policies. So I will, Jen, turn over.
Make a motion to discuss IM1.
Oh, second.
This is the second read of a new policy that affirms the district's commitment to fostering an educational environment that respects and celebrates cultural diversity, promotes inclusivity, and prevents cultural appropriation. We've been working on this policy since early 2024, and it was put forward and pulled back to be reworked based on feedback received at that time. There's been a lot of care put into finding the right balance between encouraging teachers to continue to do the amazing work that they have been doing and bringing other cultures into the classroom and recognizing that intent does not always equal impact. This policy specifically does not have a discipline component, as the goal is to strengthen cultural understanding and support a respectful, inclusive environment. I want to thank all the people who provided feedback on this policy and shared their thoughts and concerns in order to get this draft to the version it is today. At this time, I'm recommending approval.
Okay. Other discussions?
I have a number of concerns about this policy that I'd like to go through, so it's probably going to be a while. Just to give everybody a heads up. I have an issue with the actual words versus the reality of implementation. As a teacher, I think that this is overreach into the instruction, the way that teachers teach, and what they're even actually allowed to do versus what the curriculum they're given is dictating that they do. There's so little time during the school day that it is actually pretty hard for teachers to veer off and bring in their own subjective, instruction. So I'd like to go through this. The first one is I found that a lot of this information, the purpose, the philosophy, the definitions, can actually be found in our job descriptions, our equity vision statement, our mission statement. I mean, I feel like this is just really restatement of a lot of the things that we already have in our district, other than the last part where it says prevents cultural appropriation. My concerns are a lot of these are really subjective, and I don't know how you would actually implement these and oversee some of these things. So starting with the philosophy, when you use terms like authentic ways, using primary sources are ideal, those adjectives to me are very subjective. Who's going to decide that those ways are authentic? Who's going to decide that the sources are ideal? And teachers have very little control really over what they actually teach, because the curriculum is actually dictated by RIDE. So I'm wondering if this is more something that should be brought to the attention of RIDE and the curriculum that they are providing for us to choose from. The last sentence in the philosophy, Jen said there's not really a disciplinary piece to this. So what are the consequences if someone decides that something isn't being respectful and accurate to the community to whom they belong? Who is going to be in charge of any sort of consequence of a teacher maybe teaching something that somebody considers the wrong way? Going down to the policy part, I'm wondering how we're going to monitor the volunteers. It says staff, student, and volunteers will actively engage with cultures, etc. How are we going to monitor these volunteers? Who's going to decide who, on a volunteer basis, is doing things appropriately or not? And again, how is this all going to be monitored? The building principals have their hands full already. I just think that this is just giving them something else that they have to be in charge of, which is outside of our educational school day. And I also think that when we do hire people, I trust that we are hiring teachers who innately want to be culturally aware and properly responsive. And if those individual teachers, if anything's brought to your attention or the building principal's attention that something is happening that shouldn't be, there's a chain of command for that. We have teacher evaluations, we have teacher contracts. I feel like this is already baked into each individual's job description, right? From the top, we are expecting these teachers to be able to teach properly and appropriately. And if they're not, rather than write a policy for the entire faculty and staff, maybe we should be pulling them aside and giving them whatever, warnings, and looking at their contracts and looking at whether or not they were a good hire for this school district. Educators shall conduct, on page 2, research and consult credible, authentic sources. Again, who's going to decide this? And actually, Kenny, my question is, are there any examples of where we're not already doing this? I mean, is there data that's brought to your attention or the building principal's attention that these things aren't being done? Because if so, I feel like that's probably being dealt with on an individual basis. Is there enough feedback to say that we need an entire policy, to override what's going on because it's so bad out there? Teachers are, I would hope, already doing these things. Respectful representation. Again, where is the evidence that educators aren't being respectful? I feel like there's just too much policing in this. Down to number 3, the inclusive curriculum. The truth is, and that's what I wanted to talk to Jody about, the curriculum comes from RIDE. So we really have very little control. Teachers have little control over what they're asked to teach. So I wonder if RIDE doesn't have its own policy on something like this. Again, number 4, letter A, schools may teach about a variety of global curriculum and religious holidays. This is the curriculum. This is where they get their permission from. I don't think we have very much control over that. Professional learning, the impact, the financial impact on here says NA, on the workflow says NA. But my understanding is that the professional development cost last year was, I think, I'm not sure, about $8,000 for one of the 4 professional development days. The afternoon session was a culturally responsive practices professional development session. And I'm thinking it was about $8,000. Regardless, it cost us something. So for there to be a financial impact of NA, I mean, requirements of ongoing professional development are, in almost 100% of the cases, going to cost us money and need to be budgeted. So I think that financial impact needs to be changed. And let me see its curriculum. The district has 4 professional development days broken up into morning and afternoon sessions each year. Those are 8 sessions. An entire one was dedicated to cultural responsiveness. That's nice and that's very well meaning, and I really truly mean that, but we are struggling with students who are not proficient in grade level core subjects. And as far as I'm concerned, I think there are really very important educational and academic professional development days and times when teachers are able to meet as a department and as groups in order to go over what they need to do to teach. I think that we are just piling on to our teachers. I mean, I don't know how teachers are doing what they're doing because they're being asked to wear many hats. And page 3, educators, letter B at the top, educators under professional learning. Educators are expected to engage in continuous self-reflection to increase awareness of their own cultural perspectives, assumptions, and potential biases. Who's going to monitor that? Who is going to tell them that they're not reflecting enough, that they're reflecting, and assure that they are reflecting? You're saying that these teachers might have potential biases. Well, again, then why are we hiring them? Why, or if there are issues in their classrooms, they need to be dealt with on an individual basis. How do we ensure compliance on this? And I will say collaboration and feedback. I know I have heard firsthand that there are a lot of surveys being given, too many surveys. And I really truly wonder how the building principals and faculty feel about surveys and feedback when it cuts into instructional time and they have a lot that they have to cover in a school year, and continuous surveys, which I'm assuming is going to be part of providing the provision of feedback. I'm wondering what these principals and faculty members, how they feel about these constant surveys. Implementation, this policy shall be shared annually with all staff and volunteers. I would say no. We have a policy handbook online. That's where our policies should go. I think we've gotten out of control with how many things we're going to share at the beginning and the end of the school year. We've got gun storage, we've got other policies. The whole point of a policy handbook is to have the handbook available, but I think, what are we going to do? Just start handing out every single policy at the beginning of each year and at the end of each year? So I just think that's just overkill there. And then commitment to continuous improvement. I actually think that rather than review this every 3 years, we should be reviewing this if this gets passed every year. And shouldn't we be consistent and ensure that we're being compliant with all of our policies, especially the ones that require reports to be given, because we're now adding another policy where I'm assuming we would like to see data and feedback year to year. Is this working, right? What is the actual objective information and data we're getting back from this policy? But we don't even do that with other policies we have. We can't even keep up with reports from the other policies. Now we're adding another policy where we have to do X, Y, or Z. I just think this is just too much. I think this could easily, a couple of these lines could easily be incorporated into other existing policies, or our equity vision statement, or our culture, or our mission statement, or vision statement, or job description, and that it could be short and sweet. I think this is just too much. So, those are my
Thank you.
thoughts.
Other comments?
I just have more of a question that how much, like the teachers are given curriculum, like I'm not a teacher from RIDE. So I felt like when I read this policy that how much are teachers teaching or allowed to teach that the administration doesn't know about?
So they have specifically have adopted curriculum that they have to use.
Well, that's what I thought. So I don't understand why we would need a policy if they already have curriculum that they're teaching in the school. It's not like they're bringing something. Like I took this policy as if they were bringing stuff in that was not already in the curriculum. But then when I thought about it, I'm like, I don't think they're allowed to do that. Like like it needs to go through administration or to get approval to actually teach anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question is I'm asking the administration, do you feel that the teachers aren't teaching the curriculum how they're supposed to be?
I don't think this has anything. So in my opinion of this, this has been this policy has been in the works for the past few years, probably like 2 years of it going through, and we put it and tabled it, and then we took it, and then the original policy I took and I rewrote because I really wanted to kind of work it into something that could be understandable and something that wasn't going to be punitive and something that I could work with the teachers with and share this with the teachers. And this was brought to the policy committee for us to put in place. So are the teachers teaching the curriculum? Of course they are. I don't have any concern that our teachers are not teaching the curriculum that we have adopted and put in place.
Oh, I don't either. That's
what
why
has come up over the years, and I don't know if any of the other community members want to add to this, but I'm just going to share what has come up is that observation from committee members, or it could have been community members that brought it to committee members, but also, I have received this, of certain events that happen in the district that could, that would be considered as not representing the culture appropriately. Wearing costumes that might not represent the culture appropriately or would offend someone's culture. It really does not have to do with the curriculum.
There
Okay.
also have been non-curriculum materials that have been used in the classroom.
So teachers have choice. I'm going to push back on that. Teachers have choice. We want our teachers to have choice. Yes, we have curriculum that's adopted. Teachers also have flexibility. We want them to have flexibility to use resources to bring in to support that curriculum. And I think what you're pointing out is around Thanksgiving. I'm going to be very specific. We need
That's
to show,
one of them,
right?
but there have
So
been others.
around Thanksgiving, right, it's been brought to my attention that teachers have used little story flip books in elementary school that portray the first Thanksgiving. We know in history, and I'm not saying that this is me saying this, I'm saying what is out there in the community, or people have said, is that are we in school teaching what, like the truth about Thanksgiving, right? Or with Native Americans, and then you show pictures of Native Americans and pilgrims, and community members have said they felt offended by that, and some of that is what has been brought to the attention of the policy committee to put a policy like this in place. I will say that it took a lot to come up with something that could be used without also offending our teachers, and also something that does not lock our teachers' hands. This took a lot of time. I will say it took a lot of my time to have to draft something like this, which I was asked to do. And it took a lot of time. It took a lot of time working with the teachers and our administration to put something in place. And I, for one, didn't want us having a policy that was going to be punitive, that was going to be disciplinary, because I don't think that is necessary or needed in this district. It's more of what I kind of took from what was asked of me to put something in place to help educate people and with what we are teaching. And making sure that we are aware of everyone's culture and respecting people's cultures.
Other comments?
I think there was really good discussion in the policy committee as well, and different perspectives between parents and teachers, and the importance of bringing in other cultures, and like you said, making sure teachers are not, being limited in what they can teach, and being able to do that and being respectful and making sure that they're not being limited, but also being aware that, intent does not always equal impact, and just trying to be more cognizant of that, and being continually aware of, where can we do better, and encouraging teachers to continue to try to be more of a global, diverse, culturally aware community, but trying to be mindful of those areas where, historically maybe we weren't doing a great job, and, let's try and be a little bit better in those areas. And I really appreciate all the teachers who provided feedback, the work that you put in on it, and, the input that we got from everybody to get it to where we are today from where we were when we started in 2024.
And I would say, my interpretation of this policy is just making people aware. No one's walking around looking at what are you doing, what are you not doing. We're not policing it. I mean, I'll be honest, we don't have time as administrators to go in and to be looking and seeing what you are or you aren't doing. I'm not trying to say that, I'm not trying to just value this policy, but you're saying we're going to collect data or no. We're not looking to collect data. We're not doing that of what is being done or not done in the classroom. It's just to make people aware and to be aware of what you are bringing into your classroom, and that we are respecting all of the students that are in front of us. And I'm not saying no one's disrespecting, but just respecting the cultures that we have in our schools.
Megan, I just had one question, two questions about what you were talking about. Can you just point out, when you were talking about the NA that you wanted clarified, can you show me where that is in the policy? I can't find it.
Yeah, it's, I believe it might be on the workflow.
Well, no, aren't you talking about the
Yeah,
agenda
the
reporting form?
financial
There is a
impact.
financial impact of this
I'm just literally
policy.
asking where it is.
Yeah, the
Well-
work, on the first page, right before the policy.
It's not
Yeah, like the page
Is-
that should always have the financial impact of whatever we're
Agenda
discussing.
reporting form.
Oh, it's on that.
And I'll
Sorry,
be honest,
I was
I
confused
don't know.
about
I mean,
what
to
you were
say,
talking about.
would there be a financial impact? There could be if we're bringing in professional development that costs something, right? To go to what you're saying.
Yeah, like
the
there
PD to
absolutely
But the
advance it.
policy doesn't
But-
mandate that piece, right?
See, this is where I'm
Well,
confused
yes.
because it's like, oh, we're just making people aware. And the reason I said, well, let's do data on this then is not to be, again, I don't want to be punitive. I actually totally disagree. I think this is a lot of overreach on our faculty and staff. I guess the point is then, to me, it's like, this to me is just then a bunch of nice words that are out there and nice ideas, but why a policy? I guess I just feel like policies usually have an implementation and a process. And if you look under professional learning, the district, letter A, the district shall provide ongoing professional development. So, but then you're saying, I don't know if that's necessarily,
What I'm saying is, I can't tell you today what the financial impact will be for PD that we may provide.
but there
because
is a financial impact.
it could be free PD, right? The professional development could be something free, right? I'm saying it could be. I'm not saying it will be.
I was just looking at the history,
Yeah.
in the previous
think-
years,
I'm just saying
it's always
I don't
cost
know
and it
what
costs.
that. I don't know what that.
The way that
financial
I would
impact
read a memo like that, and I hear what you're saying, is if in the policy it said, it mandated that every year the budget had to include $5,000 of PD for X. That to me then would equal that part about the financial impact part. But for me, this policy isn't mandating a certain cost, and there is cost sometimes with it. But I also that checkbox could be the superintendent sending out an article for people to read, right? That's professional development. It doesn't, and I understand that history is bigger things. No, I'm
saying
Yeah.
I know that's very cute and sweet that you think that it could be free, and I just know that the history
Yeah.
of the people's decisions in this district is it's not going to be free, and it's not going to be an article. That's not going to be good
Yeah.
enough. I just feel like making I think this was just overkill. A 3-page policy with definitions and all this stuff where this could have been rolled into either an existing policy or new teacher training, something just a blurb and a reminder to our teachers of what's expected and what's not. That's all. I mean, I just think this is a lot. And
I
a
think-
lot of time was spent on this.
I agree that. It's like a lot of time was spent on this one. I feel like there's lots of other things in our district, such as the cell phone policy, and that we should be focusing on that are going to help teachers and students. And I think our district already does a great job of this, and I will say as a parent, if you have any concern about something that happened in the classroom, and I've ever reached out to a teacher, they're so open to listening and fixing it and just being, we're such a community that when I read this, I don't think we're a district that needs such a policy, because I think the teachers are already doing what they should be doing. And if they, aren't, they listen and correct themselves.
Any other comments on this? Okay, we're in a motion to discuss. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Further discussion on the policy? Okay, hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving on to 2.
I will make a motion to discuss IJNDB.
Second.
This is the second read of an existing policy, which has been revised to incorporate the existing log-on policy and add 2 new guidelines. It's also been updated to have inclusive language and to streamline the references to the North Kingstown School Department and the district. At this time, I'm recommending approval.
Okay, questions on this one?
I have a question, Dr. Duva, on the use of personal cell phones to, for instance, take pictures and stuff. I read through this. Unless I missed it, don't think I saw anything in there. What's the, I don't know, policy or what
So
are?
this would not cover personal cell phones. This is the use of technology, our NKSD technology.
Okay.
So we don't have
I
a
can
separate
note that.
policy on that.
I'll note it for
will,
something else.
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wasn't sure where that would fit in, but it
don't
is a
think it's-
question I
yep,
had.
Noted.
Okay, thanks.
My only question too is will this be the new thing that's in Aspen that the parents say?
Yeah.
Because I actually went and looked at the one that it was, and it's like much shorter than this. So I was just curious.
I don't think this, if I remember correctly of what's in Aspen, I think there's a small portion of it in Aspen, and then it does link to like the longer policies, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong though, because there's like 3 or 4 different ones, so I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, I don't
but-
think it links to the. That's why I was asking. I don't think it links to the policy, but that's how I guess I was asking. Is that how the parents are going to sign for it? I'm going in right now.
Yeah, it would be through Aspen, so we'd have to make sure this is linked in there. Now this
Yeah,
is
because
the-
I think right now.
So I guess that is a question. If parents are signing off on this policy, and we already did that in September, do we need to do anything with like the effective date, or are we going to have all the
Well,
parents and guardians
I
reapprove?
I would say this policy would go into effect for the start of the next school year.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, now we'd have to
Yeah.
resend it out to everybody to sign off on it.
That's where I was going.
And I don't think the whole policy is in Aspen. I'm in there right now. Just says responsible use of technology sign off, but it's definitely not as.
This isn't one is longer because we're incorporating another policy, like we've changed.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
So then we'll probably just put this same
Figure out
thing
something.
in
This
Aspen.
way
But yeah, it
it's
doesn't.
too bad.
I don't know that Aspen lets you link to documents, does it? Yeah, I think it just has to be in there.
Yeah, I'm sure they can figure that piece out, but that's a good point. So this would be effective as of like September 1, 2026.
Right.
Other questions?
Yeah, or we put an earlier date because the parents can probably go in
Well,
in
I would
August,
say,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Like when
I
can
would-
you start?
I don't.
I would
think-
register. I mean, when
Or we need to just send an email out
So
saying that the
Yeah,
new
either-
policy is
we
X
either
yes.
have to have
and
everyone re-sign
Sign
it
it.
now, which I don't know if I necessarily recommend sending something out mid-year to have parents re-sign the update.
Oh yeah, that'll be a
But
disaster.
this would be something that would go in with as we register for all new registrants. So maybe this gets signed for all new registrations for next year, as well as when we put it out in the
So Jen, what-
send the handbook out.
Is there a way we can do it with that?
Yeah, because you have to initiate on Aspen
You're
like
not gonna
before
have
school
that
starts. Like
Right,
there's like
right.
4 different things.
I just feel, I don't think we
I'd like
want
to
to
remember.
wait. Yeah, no, I feel like we don't want to wait until September
So-
to make this effective.
So they said that there's no substantial change, so we just need to notify them and then they can re-sign it next
Okay,
year.
okay,
So that,
okay.
yeah, great. No, that's important. I think it's good to talk through because we definitely don't want to.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to get everyone to re-sign that.
Yeah.
Okay, other questions regarding this one?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next one.
Make a motion to discuss IJNDB2.
Second.
This is the second read of an existing policy which has been revised to incorporate the existing internet filtering policy, clarify what the SIPA program is, and streamline references to the NKSD in the district. At this time, I'm recommending approval, and I'd also like to note again that during the discussions around these policies, it became evident that there needs to be some education around the filtering software and how it's used in the classroom and how the parent software interacts with that. So I'm requesting that this be a topic of discussion for administration for education to the community. Any questions on this one?
Hold on one second. I was just making a note about what you just said.
Yeah, can you repeat that what you just asked? What you said?
She said, what I heard Jen say was that what became evident during this conversation is that students have a lot of access during the school day to social media accounts, et cetera, and setting out some educational material about Go Guardian to parents, but also making them aware that what they put in place is not effective during the school day, and that the teachers have that control.
Yeah, I agree, because the
Yep.
Go Guardian, I just
Yep.
had it, is great. But I asked a bunch of parents, and they were like, what? So I feel like if we can
Yep.
figure out ways, or even suggested to Dr. Dewar, like maybe sending out to the PTOs to put on their Facebook page, be like, go on to Go Guardian. Because I think once you get in it, it's pretty easy to figure
Yeah.
out.
But
But I think
more
it's just
like-
like downloading the app yourself and being like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah, or like the fact that you have it at home, you're like blocks in, but that when you're in school,
Yeah, it
those
doesn't.
blocks go away. Right, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way around blocking it at school.
Right. Yeah, more just making parents aware of that.
Yeah, because we had conversations about in this policy if any of those pieces should be layered in, and the director of technology about why that was not possible because of different educational uses for different things, and that the teachers have that autonomy during their classes to block certain things as like they have that control during their course time. So that's why we did not write that in, even though there was citizen concern and conversation about it. But I do think that educational piece of making sure people are aware of what they have available to them when their kids are home, and then also what is happening in school is really
Yeah.
important. So I agree with that,
And
even though we didn't write it into the policy.
And I don't know if this would be in the policy, but I'm just wondering, could we maybe like get an update twice a year at the school just about what the technology committee is discussing? Because then I think, or maybe sent out to the parents, so then it might just be another reminder of them about the technology in school and how, stuff they have access
Once
to.
a year, we're supposed to get a report out on the sites that are being blocked.
And
Well, not even sites, but just like other stuff that's being discussed, maybe? Or
So what
Do
are
you
you
know-
asking
What's
for?
getting
When
updates
you
from
say,
the
like,
technology group.
to not, like what the
Like,
technology
do you-
committee is like discussing. Because I would,
Is the technology committee referenced in this one?
yeah.
It is in this one?
Like I didn't even know there was a technology
What
committee
page?
until I read this. So I think parents don't even realize that.
Right.
So maybe
Typically,
just
that's just to talk about like updating technology in the district and like what we're doing, not so much like
not so
like,
much about stuff
Yeah.
that we're worried about the
All right,
kids.
so
We're
the
talking about
language-
Okay,
we're
then
still-
that's fine.
like, that
I wasn't
that
really sure what
committee
you
to
just-
look at educational technology. What do we need? What are there?
Okay, so it's not really
Yeah.
discussing.
No, that's
No.
right.
Concerned about what kids are.
That's not true. Hold on, sorry. It just says so it's new, it's in red, that's why it might be not on the top of your thing. But so the district shall appoint a technology committee which shall include designated members from the IT staff, administrators, educators, and students. Deciding what categories of content to filter shall be made by the technology committee and approved by the school committee. That's the new language.
It's actually new language in this policy, but
Yep.
pulled in
Yep.
from the other policy.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
but I
that's
think what
okay.
I'm hearing
Filter.
Sherry say though is like,
So we will be doing it. So yeah.
so, but it does not say decide the categories of content to filter. It doesn't
So
say
it goes-
how often though.
Right. And so that's just the categories, it's not specific sites, it's
Yeah.
what categories will be blocked.
Yep.
And I believe there's a list of
So-
categories already that we have, and then I think there's a list that
Yeah.
Jazz would have access to, like how
Yeah. So if they did this once,
it's,
they're in compliance based on this language.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes, yes, because what we got and what we're supposed to get annually is the
Result of that.
website blocking reporting. Yeah, the blocking, this filtering
'cause
category.
that came out of the internet filtering policy.
Yeah, this categories to filter, you're right, like one time only. So if we wanted to, we could include that in the annual. We could.
What I'm hearing Sherry say is that she would like to get some sort of report out of what the technology committee discussed, and then like what those categories are. But what I'm saying is, like, I feel like we have to change the language
Yes,
slightly.
that's what I'm saying. We
to-
would have to change
yeah.
this because according to this happened once. It never has to happen again. Yeah.
So I would say, do you know how often that committee meets, Ken?
Quarterly.
So could we get it annually, once annually, a report from them to the school committee for review and approval if needed, if there's any changes? Does that?
Yeah, I think it's just talking about it because I think
Mhm.
the kids have a lot of access on their Chromebook that I don't know that all parents realize. The sites that they can go to.
So I'd like
And
to.
the categories
second,
come,
wait a
just so
second.
the categories come from the Children's Internet Protection Act. So it's not like we are creating those categories. There are very specific categories that we have to work within through that act.
It actually,
And then,
under the reporting, it does say the NKSD will submit annual reports to the school committee regarding the number of requests granted, and denied to unblock a site. The results of the report shall be used to review the filtering categories in place and consider modifications to them or to the administrative procedures in place. So that does cover the categories.
Doesn't mean that they have to tell us about them, though.
Yeah, they have to submit annual reports to us.
Which would be
Okay.
which
Yeah.
would be yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll check and see when we did that last as well.
Yeah, the report shall also be used to determine whether improvements and modifications should be made to the filter itself or if a different filtering software vendor should be used. So it is covered under
Alright.
reporting.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Other questions regarding this one? Okay, hearing none, we're in a motion to discuss. So if someone wanted to make a motion to.
I will make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next one, please.
I will make a motion to discuss IJNDB 4.
Second.
This is the second read of an existing policy which has been updated to reflect a change in responsible personnel, streamline the references to NKSD in the district, format it to be similar to other NKSD policies, and add/update some of the safeguards. At this time, I am recommending approval.
Did you make a motion? Am I in a motion? Yes, we're in discussion. All right. Questions regarding this? Okay, hearing none, was your motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then if you want to take the other ones as a
Yep, I'm going
cohort.
to take them as a pair. Yep, I'm make a motion to delete IJNDBD2 and IJNDB3.
Second.
So these policies are being recommended for deletion as they're being incorporated into the policies above, IJNBD2 and IJNBD. Because we just approved the revisions to those policies, these two can be sunsetted, so at this time I am recommending deletion.
Okay, any further discussion regarding that? Okay, hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on to item B. Can I get a motion for B, please?
Motion to table?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item C.
I will make a motion to deny the superintendent's recommendation and approve the discipline that was discussed in executive session.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to D.
Make a motion to table?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, E.
Motion to table.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
F.
I will make a motion to authorize the district's attorney to respond to the letter as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, G.
Motion to table.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then H.
Make a motion to discuss.
Second.
Okay. Okay, so we'll defer, well, I think this is an update from Mr. Mezzanotte, if I remember correctly, and so I'll turn it over to the administration on this one.
Yes, correct. So we were last asked to give an update on the languages being spoken outside of English in our district and ones that have been noted. So we looked into this. The languages that families have reported that they prefer documentation in, either written or oral, include Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, Dari Pashto, and Gujarati. Those are the languages that we had that were included among the ones that were mentioned in the home language surveys, the information that we collected.
What is that last one, Rob?
Gujarati, it's an Indian language.
Indian, okay.
And so those were provided from the reports that we collected. Working with our our MLL teachers, we collected some information just about current practices. I can share those out a little bit if you want. So basically, families can select to receive written or oral communications in a language other than English, and the multilingual learner department will provide translation as needed in the languages that are requested via the MLL family liaisons. And they can translate progress reports and school-related documents and communications sent home, as well as attend parent-teacher conferences, open houses, or MLL family events. These can also be done for more confidential matters, such as IEP meetings. That would be where translation would be provided by more of a vendor through the special ed department. And then our teachers also use web-based applications to communicate with parents as needed for like quick informal check-ins or notices, such as just like little reminders to offer students and about school expectations and things of that nature. One of the things, though, that we think that we could get better at, which we're going to be bringing up and discussing at the building administrator level, is just having this practice more commonplace among building principals and classroom teachers. Right now, the MLL department is primarily in charge of this, but this is an area that we're going to be discussing more about how school communications, principal communications, or classroom teacher communications can be translated to meet the needs of the families who are requesting them.
Okay, thank you. So right now, it sounds like the communications that are being translated are those between the MLL teachers and the families, and you're saying we can look to expand it to like general school-based communications for those students?
That's correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any further discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Can I get a motion for A, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then item D.
Make a motion to discuss.
Second.
Okay, questions regarding the Rhode Island student survey. This is coming before the committee per our policy. I believe it's something that is sent out annually.
Yep. Ken.
So it's every other year. Every other year we have to, we're asked to administer this survey to the schools where we have student assistance counselors. So that would be at the 2 middle schools as well as the high school.
So, and just to reconfirm, no mandatory questions. Parents can opt their students out.
Yep.
You know, and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's correct.
I had sent you the email. We had a follow-up that's outstanding from the last time regarding the qualitative data on one of the questions. We had never received that from the survey. People that we had asked for that data the last time they were in, and we had expressed concerns over the fact that students may be providing information that they thought was coming
To the district.
And we had stated that, you know, A, we wanted to see that information, and B, that if they were going to be asking that question and not providing it, that we wanted to make sure students knew that it was not being seen by people. And I see that A, we didn't get the information, and B, that's not addressed in the survey. Is that something that you can follow up on?
Yeah, I will follow up on that. with
Jen,
the
can you clarify
director.
what question?
It's the question
She sent it to me
about
in an
why
email
did
she
you
sent.
not try to access a school counselor or psychologist?
Do you know what number? I'll find it. Okay.
And does every district do this, or is it certain districts get picked to do
Nope,
it?
so it's when they do it every other year, so you're on a cycle, it
Oh,
goes
so-
out to everyone. So every district that's involved with the Rhode Island Assistant Student Services Program.
And then, do the students take it in school?
Yeah, they take it in school. They can opt out, and then those results are shared. We can have them come back here
They
and
do,
and
yeah,
do a
they came last
presentation.
To look. Okay.
So that would have been 2024 that we were looking for that?
Yes.
Okay, and then follow up on if no disclosure.
And do you send out something ahead of time letting parents know they can opt out?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, other questions regarding this? And what's the timeline for when this gets sent out?
It goes out it's between now and March, I think it is.
So is it a possibility that you could
It's
follow up with
in-
them
Yeah, I'll
regarding that
follow up.
language change, and then
Yeah,
we can
it's
put
in-
it back
it's
on
in the
for
memo
next
I
time?
sent you. I just know the memo for the memo states when the
Yeah.
time frame.
I was just asking, can we wait a week to approve it so that we can follow up on that question about the disclosure of, like, piece?
Yeah, we can put this on the 27th agenda.
Thank you. Okay, any further discussion? With that said, can we get a motion to table?
Make a motion to table.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the next one.
Motion to approve.
Second. Thank you. Any questions regarding this?
I just had a comment, more of a comment than a question. So going back to, there's been like a $21 million swing in the CIP plan from, and I expected us to have been talking about another agenda item that was going to go in, but from the time that we initially had put, and all this is in the backup, so I know I can talk about it. From the time that we had put this together initially our CIP list for Davisville was like 9.9 million, and I understand all the reasons why, but now it's 41 million. So that's a $31 million increase that has come out of other areas. WMS went from 77 million down to 50 million. I just, again, everything's been approved, that's wonderful, but I just have concerns again because so many things have come out of Wickford. We're basically spending $9 million less on a brand new middle school than we are for renovations for Davisville. And I just have concerns about how we got there. So I look forward to talking more about that. So.
Okay, other questions regarding the memo?
I just want to comment. When I saw that, I actually thought it was a positive thing because now our two middle schools, I think, are to be equitable instead of not equitable, with one having a new school and one not having one.
And the cost, just so, sorry, I had to pull up that. So where it says approved value of 50 million, we're actually spending more on Wickford Middle.
That's not what I'm talking about.
It's just that is what they are finding us eligible for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all
as
for,
far as
that's why I think we
reimbursement.
should have one in the first place so that we didn't have this
Me
issue.
too. Me too. But we didn't win that. So.
Yeah. And it's more a concern that the other schools are getting less money than what we had originally allocated for them too. So it's a big decrease and a big increase. And I'm all for the improvements that we're making to Davisville, but it's been a huge swing. So
And part of that
Did
was
we-
us going through the approval process.
I know
with
it's all ride directed.
right? And
I
they
understand the
wanted
reasons
more
for that,
of us
but
to
it's,
put-
it's what's come out of Wickford that I am concerned with. So we can address that when we address the other one, but.
Did we ever get the numbers about, I'm not gonna know the acronym off the top of my head, but, you know how the buildings get like the grades?
The
Yeah,
FCI.
we still don't
Thank
have
you.
those. No, we still don't have
Weren't we
that
supposed
back.
to have them?
We were supposed to get it back.
Okay.
They
I'm gonna
state
put
came
that on
out.
the list. It just made Jen's comments, which I agree with, and I have a lot of comments about the different, how we're approaching this, but I do get very concerned, and I would like to see those numbers, so if we can follow up on that, for the new FCI scores, about money put into a old building, and although it will make DMS nicer, it will not make it equal to a new facility, and that I think is something that is tricky, because eventually the things in that building that we are not upgrading or doing will need to be done as well, and we will have invested a lot into an older facility. So if we could get those scores, I think that would help us make future decisions about how much to invest in the different buildings as we go forward.
Aaron, offline, I think you should talk to Kenny about those most recent scores. There was like a whole discussion on the accuracy and all that stuff.
Yep. Fun. Okay. Or we could get them and we'll talk about them here. We'll figure it out. Okay.
I would love to see them.
Yeah. Noted. Anything else on this one? We don't. This is just a memo. We're not doing anything, right?
You have to approve it and then sign it, and I gotta send it back to them.
You didn't
So, so you just need to.
Got it. We all have to
Proof that
sign it.
we're
No one
free.
leave.
Yeah.
Do
And
not
you
leave.
should-
I
She
saw
has to
that
hold it.
earlier.
Okay.
So I want to pass it
So-
around for signature.
So we are signing to.
You're signing that you agree to this MOA. And then I have to submit it back to them,
Yep.
Back to RIDE, right?
back to RIDE.
So it's RIDE saying we're approved for stage 2.
Yeah. And we're saying we accept it, we agree to it, we're gonna do the work, and then we'll send them our signatures, they'll send it back for a final copy for our file.
Okay. Other questions? With that said, if things had to change, all that would happen is that we would not be getting the reimbursement rate. So hypothetically, if we built WMS and we got 3/4 of the way done, and the $50,000, like the amount that we had allocated, is not enough because of inflation or whatever, it doesn't mean that we can't finish that building with the money. It just impacts the reimbursements, correct? Or are we just
So
with a 3/4 built building?
do you mean like within 5 years? What do you
Yeah,
mean?
like I'm saying, like these are the approved values, but that doesn't prohibit.
So what they're saying is that we, up to 50,000 is what we are approved to get reimbursement
Yeah.
on, right?
Okay, that's
So
what I wanted to
if we
clarify.
build a building for 70, we're
Yep.
only getting reimbursement on 50.
Yep.
If you build a building for 45, you're under, you're getting reimbursed
Yep.
on the 45.
But it doesn't prohibit us from
You have to,
doing what we need to
all
do.
we have to do
Yep.
is 50% of the projects we've been approved of
Yep.
in total.
Understood, by signing this.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you for that clarification. Other questions? Okay, 2023. Okay, so I believe we're in a motion to discuss. If there are no other questions, I would.
No, motion to
Ooh, how exciting. Hearing no other discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and again, no one leave after this meeting. I need you all to sign it. Or we will probably. Okay, moving on to correspondence.
December
Oh, yeah,
16th,
fine.
Robert Jones, agenda items, January 3rd, Tank, invitation to Tank's reading of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from Birmingham Jail, January 7th, Matt McCoy, America's 250, America's Field Trip, January 8th, Matt McCoy, Senate President Lawson's remarks on the start of the 2026 legislative session, January 8th, Matt McCoy, House Speaker K. Joseph Chikarchi's remarks on the start of the 2026 legislative session, January 12th, Lindsay Lorgener, Tech and School, January 12th, Kelly Bringhurst, comment on cultural respect for upcoming school committee meeting.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.